All right, you guys, we're back and we're live. Welcome back to our daily live feed. As you're logging on, if you'd like to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. We do hair, makeup, suits and posing, all the fun stuff when it comes to competing. And if you'd like to join me tomorrow, we have a free webinar. Again, it's on suitsandposing.com. Go in there. You can add your name to the list. It's a free webinar that teaches you how to design your perfect competition suit. And you can scan this QR code right here as well in the corner. If you're on Instagram, you can't see the QR code. So we are live on YouTube and Facebook where you can. You can watch us on Instagram, but it's better on YouTube and Facebook. And apparently Instagram has just restricted my account to yesterday-ish for reels and things like that I've been putting up. Whatever. I know it's a common thing. So it is what it is. Instagram doesn't like girls' butts in bikinis, which is what I do for a living. So it kind of hurts my business a little bit. Just little. But when you log on, say hello. Let me know you're here. Let me know what's up. Chat in the comments. We always give people about 3 minutes or so to get logged on, those notifications to pop up, all of that. What's up, Lexi? We have a lot of stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks here, next few weeks, handful of weeks. So yeah, we've got our free webinar tomorrow. So you can go to suitsandposing.com to sign up for that, or you can scan this QR code right there. I'm going to put up another QR code right now, which takes you to our Spotify. Make sure that you're on Spotify because next week is Tampa. And as you guys know, when I go to these big pro shows like the Arnold, New York, Pittsburgh, now Tampa, I go and I record from prejudging. So if you're new here, you don't know what I do at the shows, while I'm sitting there in prejudging, I talk about what's going on stage, right? So I record that into my Spotify, and then immediately after prejudging is over with, I upload that into my Spotify channel. So what I recommend you guys do is if you were at the show or if you're buying the live stream or whatever, you can replay the live stream and listen to my commentary along with it. Because what I do is I do my commentary just like I talk to you guys here on YouTube. I just do it there at the show from, as close to the judges as I can get. One of the things that we talked about last week and that Tyler came out and talked about was the fact that, a lot of people that do reviews don't actually go to shows and don't see it from the judge's perspective, which is 100% correct. If I'm not at the actual show, I always say that they give the caveat of we're just looking at photos or we're just looking at videos. If I'm there in person, I can give you a whole lot better of a what went down kind of thing, right? So we always use that caveat. So I do like to be at the shows as much as I can. And I do like to commentate from the shows as much as I can. So if you are on my Spotify right here, if you're not, go ahead and get on the Spotify and listen. There is commentary on there from a bunch of shows this year. So we started the Spotify channel with the Arnold. And then from that point forward, every big pro show that I've been at, I've done the commentary. That being said, I didn't do DC Pro-Am because I was on the official commentary for that live stream there. So there is not commentary for DC Pro-Am at that particular one, but I was at that one. So tonight, what I wanted to do is I want to do a couple of things. First, we are going to preview the Bigman for Spain, but it's a relatively small list and pretty obvious who's going to win it. So we got some pictures from the Sir Cup Pro in Brazil. I think it was in Brazil. So we're going to go through those photos tonight. Some of the competitors we've talked about before, most of them we have not. So I think it's important that we start paying attention to some of the ladies that are outside of the US. We've talked about this a few times. So if we have coverage from these shows that comes up on NPC News Online, I'll be more than happy to kind of review the shows. That said, we're going to go into it a little bit, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it and why we can't really judge it from the photos, kind of some of the things I was just talking about. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that in a minute. But what's up, guys? Tomorrow night when we get on, we will do our prep update time. So for those of you that are new here as well, on Thursday nights when I'm home and not at a show, I get on live and we talk about what's going on with my prep questions, about everything, coaching, nutrition, training, presentation stuff, everything that's going on. You guys come with your questions. We have coaches that jump on here and chat in live and things like that too, and offer up their answers to questions that you guys have, that kind of thing. So we will do that tomorrow night. The reason we do that on Thursdays is because Thursdays is my check-in day with my coach. So I tend to have some feedback and some things to do going forward. I am in prep right now. Comment in if you are currently in prep right now. I know we have quite a few ladies that are getting on stage in the next couple of weeks, the next month or so, but then we have a lot of ladies getting on stage as we get into the fall and into the winter too. So comment if you're in prep and what stage prep you're in right now. And then while we do that, I'm going to pull up the list for Spain, Bigman. Let's see. Prep life here. Yeah, right? Okay, so here's the Bigman list. So there's a few people on here to be paying attention to. This Christina Brunner. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. She's done pretty decent the last few shows. She's one that we talked about. I believe she's the one that has the issues with the posing. Prep life and currently pushing. Prep life, baby, is slow and steady. Yeah, slow and steady for me too. Slow and steady for me too. So I feel you on that one. Where is it? Get out of there. There. Okay, let's take a look. Well, Christina, I think her name's spelled wrong. Shoot. Maybe it's a T there. Maybe. Did I do it? I think so. I think that's how you pronounce it or spell it. I mean, yeah, there we go. What's up? What's up? Okay, so this girl we can pay attention to a little bit, but if you guys remember, we've talked about her a couple of times because she's been doing okay in these European shows. She's been getting those top fives, that kind of thing. But she's the one where her posing is really off. So somebody comment in and tell me what is wrong with this front pose here. Somebody tell me what's wrong with the front pose. I'll give you a minute. I actually think she's got a really good physique. And I just think she's showing it wrong. I'll wait. What's wrong with the front pose here, guys? What's wrong? I know our chat's on a little bit of a delay. Back shoulder can come down. Yes, that's definitely one thing for sure. What else? Anybody else? Nobody else has any comments on her front pose here? Man, you guys got to pay attention to me sometimes. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and tell you. Her back is too arched. Actually, her back is not arched enough. I see what you're saying about her back being too arched. I understand what you're saying with that. You're talking about her upper body being yanked back, which is the case. However, that's not her back being arched. When we talk about back being too arched, that's the lower back. Okay, so she needs more arch in the lower back, meaning she needs to push back into her lower back and into her glutes. Can't put my finger on it, but it looks off for sure. Yeah. So look at the line. Okay, like I tell you guys all the time, you should be able to take a ruler, and that ruler should hit the outside of the delts and should hit the outside of the glutes as you go down. She's not facing too much to the side. She's actually not bad on that. She's twisted pretty good. But if you were to take a ruler and hit it on the outside of the delts, it's going to be way far away from the glutes. It should hit the outside of the glutes right here, and it's not. She's pushing forward on her glutes versus pushing back. She needs to be pushing back and sitting into this. And I hate using the word sitting into that because then people think that they have to sit and push and all this kind of stuff. But no, it's just a tilt backwards where the glutes should go up into the air. She's pushing forward, right? And in the process, because she's doing that, she's also yanking back, which is, I understand what you're saying with that, Judith. It's a yank back on that upper body. What she needs to do is invert this. And she's done this for like 3 shows. So I don't know why nobody's giving her this feedback or she's not implementing it. But she has a much better physique than what she's actually showing in these photos because of this pose. This pose just making her look really off balance, But she's got some nice fullness. She's got some nice roundness to her shoulders. Her waistline's nice and tight, but she's just not showing it right. So I wish somebody would give her some feedback or she would listen to this. Because I think she would do a lot better if she just fixed her posing. I believe her back pose is a little bit off too. Let me get to a back pose and let's see. I just remember her front pose being really off. I think she's doing something similar in her back pose. Yeah, I don't know what this is exactly with the back pose. So posing is everything, you guys. It is so much everything. I don't know what this is. Okay, there we go. Now she's in it. But same thing here. This isn't terrible. It's not as bad as her front pose, but she needs to arch back more in that lower back. Push up. She's kind of sitting into it. If you notice, if you look at her knees are going forward. So I know a lot of girls do the knee thing to try to pull the hamstrings tighter, but in doing so, you flatten the glutes. So she needs to push back and up with those glutes. Again, here she's got her upper body back too far. It's just yanked back too far. So she needs to pull the arms down. Let's see if this is just an in-between shot. She pulls the arms down. Nope. This is where her arms landed. Her arms are up way too high. Elbows are sticking out way too much. And she's just not pushing and arching back enough. If she would fix these poses, her physique would look 1,000 times better. So who knows? Maybe at this show, she got some feedback that told her to fix her posing, and maybe she'll come back better. If she does, she could definitely be a front runner in this show for sure. She's been top 5 already, even with the posing mistakes. But outside of her, what we're looking at is Ivana again. So this is likely going to be your winner right here. Ivana, she's like that one that nobody really pays attention to that much, but she comes into a show and she's going to win it. If it's in Europe, she's going to win it. If it's in the US, she's going to be top 2. I mean, it just is what it is. Like she's pretty dominating and people just don't really talk about her much. I think because she's not here from the States, that kind of thing, because she's not, because she's from Spain. That's the other thing too. She's going to be competing in Spain. That's where she's from. I mean, I think she's won this show before. She's on the poster for the show. So this, in my opinion, is likely going to be your winner right here. I'm just saying, this is most likely your winner. I would be surprised if she doesn't win. She's also in the Arnold. She was second, third call out at the Olympia, something like that. So yeah, probably gonna be your winner here. And then the other one that we have on the list to be looking out for is Laura Ziv. So her last show, which was this one in July, she didn't do very well. She got 14th, which I believe she's been to the Olympia in the past. But looking at her frame here, it looks pretty unbalanced. She's got some pretty thick quads in comparison to her shoulders. Her shoulders are pretty flat. It just looks like she has a lot more mass on her lower body than her upper body. She just looks a little bit meh, like she's kind of she lacks some pop, lacks some fullness, specifically in the shoulders. Let's take a look. I think she went to the Olympia. Yeah, she's an Olympian. Let's take a look at her back pose. Yeah, again, from the back, it's just kind of meh. you know. She doesn't really have any fullness to her shoulders, doesn't really have any fullness to the upper outer glute. She's just lacking pop all over. She's lacking that roundness. I don't know if this is maybe just from competing too much. I know she competed quite a bit last year, again, going into the Olympia, all that kind of stuff. But to me, this just looks like she needs to add some more muscle. So seeing her in 14th place is kind of shocking when she was an Olympian. But when you look at her physique, I understand it. I understand why. She's in shape, but she just needs some roundness, some fullness to that body. So I really don't see anybody coming out and taking this from Ivana. I mean, I could be wrong. Somebody could just come out of nowhere and take the show, but I don't think so. I think Ivana's gonna probably take that win right there. So I mean, that's all I had really for this particular show for preview. And this is the only show we've got going on this weekend because Tampa's next weekend. So let's go ahead and look at some of the photos and stuff from this, the show this weekend. The Sur Cup. Is that what it is? Sur Cup. Yeah. So here's the thing when we're looking at these other shows outside of the US, you can tell that their lighting and their photography and things like that is quite a bit different than what we have in the States. So it's very difficult to evaluate their physiques when it's so different. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but it's like they have like anabolic lighting. Like everybody looks phenomenal and really hard and really all of the things in these pictures. And I don't necessarily think that they look that much different in real life than the competitors here in the States. But the way that their stage lighting is and the way that everything is put together for them, it's like it makes them look a lot more muscular, a lot harder, a lot grainier, all of those kinds of things. And then the reason why I say that I don't think that they look a whole lot different than the actual competitors here in the States is because Jessica, who won this, has been top 2, top 3 across the board. This is Susanna, who came in second, and she has also qualified for the Olympia. Marioli? Marioli has been top 3, top 5, the last few shows. So it's not that the criteria is completely different in these shows outside of the US. I just think that their lighting on their stages and their photography is different. So it ends up making them look a lot more muscular than the girls here in the US. So kind of wanted to put that out there because once you start looking at these photos, you're gonna say, damn, these girls are big, they're hard, they're vascular, they're all these things. But I really think it's more so the lighting and the photography. So let's just take a quick look at each one of these girls. This is Tatiana. Not familiar with her at all. I'm not familiar with a lot of these girls, but again, I want to start talking about them and kind of talking about what they can do to improve and kind of hit the standards that we're seeing here in the States. So when we look at Tatiana, first thing I see is that she's too soft. She's got quite a bit of mass on her lower half of her body, but I think that is more so just because she's not quite in shape. She needs better conditioning here. Not a fan of the hand on the waistline covering the belly button. You guys know that if you're one of my posing clients, I tell you to pull that hand off your belly button. That just looks weird. And the judges know you're trying to make your waistline look smaller. It's not doing it. So I would say specifically here in this particular photo, conditioning needs to improve. If her conditioning improves, she might be better balanced than what we're seeing here because a lot of women do carry more fat on their lower half of their body than their upper half. So if she was able to come down a few more pounds, this might balance her out a little bit because I think that the extra weight would mostly come from her lower half. And then maybe she'd pop a little bit better too. To me, this just looks like she's got more mass on her lower half and less on her upper half. She's not wellness by any stretch of the imagination. She just needs to improve her conditioning here. Let's take a look at a back shot for her. I think this is posed. From the back, she's got a pretty good back shot. She's pinching her shoulder blades, so you got to be careful about that. Got some nice fullness and roundness to those glutes. Other than the pinching the shoulder blades, I wouldn't change a whole lot back here. I like her conditioning from the back. Maybe a little bit tighter, but again, this just could be lighting from the pictures. I I don't know if I'd go much tighter here from behind because she's got those hamstrings already coming in and her glutes are pretty squared off on the outside. So I would say maybe round everything out a little bit more. And then open up the shoulders so that we see a nice wide back in the back, and that make your lower back look smaller. Just increase that X frame. What could help her here? She's got her toes out quite a bit in this pose. If she was to bring the toes in a little bit, I think that would take away some of the squareness look that she has going on. You want round full glutes. See how she kind of points here? She's got that square going on. I think that's mostly from her pose. Activating the glutes like that will make them square off. So I would say just relax those toes and bring them in a little bit. That would be helpful in this particular position right here. Next girl up is Marioli. So again, Marioli has been placing top fives here in the States. And my critique for her at this show is what it's been for the last few shows. She just needs to add some more size to her upper body more than anything else. Conditioning is okay. If she comes in much tighter, I think I mentioned this the last show too that she did. If she comes in much tighter here, she's going to lose her shoulders even more. And that's not going to be helpful to her. So she's got a pretty good lower half. I would just say just fill the shoulders out, round the shoulders out, get a little bit more mass up top. She's starting to get a little bit of, this is the same for every show. She's getting a little bit hard through the waistline. You're seeing a little bit of that graininess. We don't want to see graininess there. You want to be tight, but not like grainy, right? Which is what we're getting a little bit there. She's just leaner on top than she is on bottom, and that's most women in general. So I would say get some more shoulders. That's the biggest thing. I don't know if I would change a whole lot about the lower half. I would just really focus on getting more roundness in the shoulder cap here. She did change her suit to this blue, which I do like. I'm still not a fan of that top cut, though. I think the top cut is still too small. When you're seeing breasts coming out the outside like this, I just think that's too much. It's okay in the center. I just don't want to see it on the outside, too. I think it's just showing a little bit too much here. It's the same. It looks like the same cut as what she had for the red one. So I'd like to see a little bit more fullness on that top. Let's find a back shot here. Not fully posed. Man, they got a lot of pictures here too. So probably could stand to be a little bit more conditioned. Like I said, from the front, same thing. Legs could be a little bit more conditioned. But the problem with that is that if you bring the legs in, you're going to lose more upper body. So you're playing this balancing act right now. Suit bottoms from the back do fit her a little bit better than those red ones. I would still pull them down just a touch. We're seeing a little bit of that boniness up at the top. So you got to bring it down so you don't see that. Bring the hands down just a touch so the elbows don't poke back quite so much and we see more of that delt pop. That would be helpful for her here. But overall, I again go back to, I think she just needs to grow some shoulders. If she grows some shoulders, she'd be in a much better shape, much better place as far as balance is concerned. And we have Priscilla Rodriguez, which I believe we've seen Priscilla before too, right? Yeah, she's competed a few times here. So she's gotten a few fifth places, that kind of thing. And again, going back to, she looks super muscular here when she didn't look like that in some of these other photos. Again, conditioning, just a little bit more. So I'm saying that quite a bit for these girls. So again, this could be the lighting. It could be the anabolic lighting that I'm talking about here at the show. I don't necessarily think so. I think she just needs to be just a little bit tighter, just a touch. She's got quite a bit of fullness in the quads. I like the glute pop, but the quads are a little full. Probably could stand to open up this pose a little bit. She's another one where her suit top doesn't fit her quite right. I'm looking at under boob here. Get a bigger suit top. Cover yourself up correctly, that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, overall good shape. Overall really good shape here. Of the girls we've looked at so far, I think she's actually got the best front pose as far as balance is concerned. And from the back, she's got some nice fullness to the glutes, but the legs are still taken over. So like I said, from the front, she's got a little bit too much quad. From the back, she's got a little bit too much quad. This is a girl that if she wanted to, she could probably train to move up to wellness because of her structure. She's not that size, but she could do it because of the structure she's got here, those quad sweeps that she's got here. So again, going back to, we don't see really those full delt pops. So I think it is conditioning as well. But mostly what I'm seeing here, she just has a little bit too much fullness in the leg. And I don't know if this is lighting or if this is her tan, but we're seeing some splotches in the tan. That's never good when they're right there, because that's where we look. We look right at that spot. So be careful of your tan right there. Maybe, I don't know, maybe she sat down on something or whatever and it rubbed the tan off. Be careful about those kinds of things. Let me see if it's in the other pictures too. Yeah, it's in the other pictures too. So it's not just the lighting. It's definitely something she must have rubbed it off or something when she sat down. And then we have Susanna Armeo. So Susanna was also an ex-Olympian, I believe. Was it last year? Yeah. Yep. To me, she looks like she's got a ton of muscle. Let's see. I think this is a fully posed front pose. Yeah. Conditioning is good here, but she's got a thicker waistline. Again, with the suit top, you're seeing under boob. Ladies, make sure that your suit top fits you. She can't pull it down because then she's going to pop out of the top. So she needs a bigger suit top. Ladies, get a suit top that fits you. I would rather your suit top be too big, because then at least you could stuff it to fill it out. So if you're questioning on which direction to go with your suit top, go up a size, because worst case scenario, you stuff it a little bit to fill it out. She doesn't need to fill it out. She's got plenty of chest, but I'm saying, like, you just in general, when you're trying to get a suit top, err on the side of being too big versus too small. If it's too small, it's just really distracting. And to me, this is very, very distracting. It's just overwhelming how much of a distraction this is. Just saying. With that, again, she's got a little bit more size in her lower half than her upper half, but overall, she's got a lot of muscle. We're seeing some graininess here in the quad. So she's a little bit on the other side of the conditioning line. We've talked about these other girls being a little bit too soft. She's a little bit too hard here. Or get accustomed. Jennifer. Yes, correct. Exactly. And I just think that her waistline is a little bit thick here. So she has to be a little bit bigger in order to combat that. So maybe she does need to put a little bit more size in her upper half. I hate saying that because I think she's already got quite a bit of muscle. A custom suit. Right. Exactly, Jennifer. Thank you. Thank you for that. But yeah, when you got this graininess through the waistline and things like that, and you've got a thicker waist, it's hard because you've got to build outward in order to make it look smaller. She kind of reminds me a little bit of Krista Bolina through the waistline, where that waistline just really muscular, really grainy, really hard. And that really stands out when you're standing next to these other girls that don't have that. So that's the first thing I look at with her. The suit top not fitting and the waistline being too thick is where my eye goes. And see, like I said, looking from the back, she's over conditioned. You can see all this vascularity through her strings and things like that. She's got great glutes, but again, she's got legs to match. So she's pushing it on the muscle. She's definitely pushing it on the muscle. I don't know. If I was her, I'd really try to streamline the legs. I don't think I would try to grow the glutes at all. I think I would try to streamline the legs, because I think the glutes are fine if they weren't next to legs being that thick. So I would bring the muscularity down a little bit in the quads and stuff like that. And I think if she did that, that would be helpful. Again, it's going to be difficult because she does have that thicker waistline. I understand why you need to be a little bit more muscular when your waistline's a little thicker. But you got to have a good balance. And I just feel like this is really dominant with the legs in the back. So conditioning's a little over the top. Delts look good from the back. I think it's her lower half that just needs some streamlining, needs some tweaking from the lower half. And then we have Jessica, who did win this show. Again, she's been very close to winning shows this year. So this wasn't a big surprise. When we were talking about the preview, we kind of talked about her a little bit as being most likely our winner here. Now you can see with her suit top fits her, right? She doesn't have under boob coming out. She doesn't have side boob coming out. She doesn't even have middle boob coming out, right? Her suit top fits her. So it looks like, to me, I don't know, it looks like all, like the ones I've always been talking about all have the same suit cut on their top. So maybe they're all the same suit company. I don't know. But you got to make sure that you get one that fits you. Now, what I will say about Jessica here is I do feel like she's a little bit over conditioned in her lower half. I mean, you can see vascularity through her calves here. We're seeing the vascularity and the quad and the graininess through the quads, but her shape is really good. Oops, her shape. She's got that tight waistline. She's got a nice glute pop here. That V into her lat is pretty much perfect. She could stand to be a little fuller in the shoulders, but not much. That could just be a pumping thing. You know what I mean? But again, she's got vascularity coming down through her biceps, through her shoulders. So you got to be careful of that vascularity. That's too much for Bikini. I think for this particular show, she got away with it because some of these other girls, their structures weren't the best. So she beat them on structure. But I think if she stands next to girls here in the States, which she has been, she's going to look a little bit too hard, a little bit too grainy, a little bit too muscular, all those kinds of things, just because of her conditioning here. But again, she has a superior shape here. She's just got to be careful of that conditioning, got to be careful of the vascularity, the graininess, the hardness, all of that coming through here. Let's get to a back pose. And she's clearly got the best back pose here. I mean, this is what I was talking about with the other girls. The other girls, their legs were the dominant feature here. With her, the dominant feature is her glutes. You guys see that, right? You guys can see that her glutes are the main thing that we're looking at in this photo. She's got some nice 3D pop. Her conditioning is good. She's not super dry through those hamstrings and stuff that we were just talking about with Susanna prior to her. Not a huge fan of where she's got her hand placement. She just needs to pull them in a little bit so we don't see the backs of the hands. Delts look pretty good though. I think if she was to bring the hands in a little bit, the delts would look even better. But this is what I'm talking about. Her glutes are what we're looking at, right? Versus the other girls, we were looking at their legs. We were looking at the vascularity. We were looking at the time through the hamstrings, things like that. So that really is what made the difference between her winning this show. And again, she had the better structure from the front too, as far as the waistline is concerned, the V taper, all of that too. I think she had the superior structure by far on this particular lineup. And even though her conditioning, her muscularity, all that might be a little bit too much for the States, I think it still works. Because again, it's not like she was way outside the top 5 and stuff competing here in the US. She was in those top 2, top 3 spaces, that kind of thing. So it's just a matter of time for her to get a show. And I definitely think she was the best one for the job here at this particular show. So congratulations to her. I would say just going into the Olympia, just try to calm down a little bit on the vascularity, all of that kind of stuff going on. And I think she'd be okay. Her structure is pretty good. So let's take a look at wellness too. I did pull up the comparisons, but I just wanted to show you that when we were looking at that. But let's look at wellness really fast too. Now, when we start going into these South American countries and things like that, this is where wellness really starts to kind of take over as far as dominance and structure and all of those kinds of things are concerned. Each one of these girls look pretty good, quite a bit better than some of the girls we see here in the States. So this is what we're looking at with wellness. This was 5th place. Was that right? I didn't even pull up her name. Sorry. Vinayana. Sorry, I don't know. we're at fifth place. This is fifth place. So the biggest thing that hinders her here is lack of V taper with her waistline. But when you look at her shape and her frame, look at her thickness and fullness in her quads, right? The thickness and fullness in her quads, the conditioning is right on. This is what wellness should look like from the front. You know, the issue again with why she's not any higher than where she is here at this particular show is her waistline and how she goes. She doesn't have really a taper that goes into her waistline at all. But still, when I'm talking about kind of like the quality of competitors for wellness is quite a bit higher here than most of the shows we see here in the States. Let's take a look at the back. Well, she's going to hit a back pose. I don't think she actually hit a back pose. Hold on. Is she not? Oh, here's one. She's still kind of moving though. Huh. Well, I mean, I guess we can kind of hit this one and kind of go through them a little bit. She never really hit a full back pose. So she's transitioning here, so we can't really tell. Still transitioning, but you can see the roundness and the fullness in the glutes. This is a wellness back pose for sure, or back frame. It's not pose yet. Oops, wrong thing. Sorry. Okay. So this is the back pose she hit. Not sure exactly why she did that. Not the most flattering. You see a little bit of squish of the skin here. So that was not a smart move as far as this particular pose is concerned. She needs to hit a full-on back pose. And maybe the photographer just didn't catch it. But, I mean, this one's probably showing us the glutes the best, you know? So, I mean, she's got a great shape. She's got a great shape for wellness and everything. I just can't really evaluate her back pose because I don't think she actually hit one. So, yeah, cool beans right here. Anyway, you know, when you hit these kind of squishy poses, it's not a good thing, right? So that could have hurt her with her scores. Let's see. Next, we have Pamela Rodriguez. Let me find a front pose for her. Yeah, it might be why she didn't get higher than fifth. It's true. I mean, I don't know. That's weird. Okay, so again, this is a really good, you know, wellness look. She does have a better taper here for the waistline, right? She could stand to be a little bit fuller in the quads probably, but she's got that, you can clearly see that she's wellness, right? She's got the fullness in the quads. She's got the fullness in the glutes, all of that. Really good front pose here. Not a huge fan of the makeup, but I think also the makeup thing was a lighting issue at this show. I'm noticing that on a lot of these girls. I think that the makeup was just off because of the lighting. I don't necessarily think it was bad makeup. I just think the lighting didn't do them any favors. Let's get a back pose. Just needs some more glutes. Legs look great. I mean, from her quarter turns, her legs look great too, but she's just lacking in the glutes. And I'm not sure what she's doing here with this pose. Looks like she's looking down at her feet. Yeah. And it's not like she just did that in transition because she's looking down at her feet every one of these. So don't look down at your feet, you guys. That's not good. All we see is this back all pinching in and stuff because she's not up with her hair on her back. Legs look great. Just needs more glutes. She's got a little bit of an imbalance in the glutes too. Left one is bigger than the right. So need to work on that. That's where I would say she kind of dropped off at that point. These girls with their back poses. What is going on? What's going on with y'all's back poses, guys? Better than that. We're better than that. Okay, so this is Abril. Let's take a look at her. Here's a front pose for her. I'm just going to say it right now. I hate the suit. Oh, goodness gracious. You guys already know I'm not a fan of the pie plates. This is like a weird mix of like a pie plate with a molded cup. I don't know. Not a fan. Not a fan of the cut. Not a fan of the color. It looks like it's coming off of her chest versus holding her in. I feel like she might fall out of it at any moment. Not a fan of the suit. Let's just say that. Orange is never a good color with your skin tone with the tan. Not a good idea. But that said, nice full around quads. Let's see if there's a better photo of her. There, she's smiling in that one. Waistline's tiny, so that helps. She's got a good V taper, but she's got small shoulders, which is perfect. That's what you want for wellness. You don't want to have those big full round delts. So it actually works out really nicely for her. Yeah, I'm just really kind of thrown off by the suit. thrown off by the suit, you guys. Oh, don't do that again. It was like the suit was specifically created to piss Sean off. Correct. Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan. And even here, oh guys, oh, this is a bad suit cut. This is a really bad suit cut. Please get a different suit. Please get a different suit. She's bending over too much, which is completely flattening out her glutes. Guys, stop bending over in your poses. Wellness ladies, stop bending over in your back poses. It flattens your glutes. We want to see round glutes. I think she's got better glutes here than what she's showing because she's bent over. And it's way too high up here in the top, and it makes it look like we're going to see things that we just don't want to see. That suit cut, the inseam is way too long. It needs to come down. You need to see that V taper come down into V taper. Listen to me. That little V in the back to come down versus being all the way up, halfway up your back. No. Bad suit. Really bad suit. Fix the back pose. If she did that, this would be a much better look. Different suit. Fix the back pose. Okay, that's my 2 cents. Please don't wear that suit again. Okay, then we have Fernanda. Let's see. Orange pie plates, yes. Bad, very bad. Okay. Now this suit I can get on board with. We got a blue suit, blonde hair, love it. We can get on board with this one. To me, she's got a little bit of distension in her waistline, but again, the shape is much better than a lot of the girls we see in the States here. She's got those full round quads again. She's got a little bit of a V taper and a little bit of shoulders. They're round, but they're not like overpowering, you know. So that's wellness right there, right? But yeah, her waistline is really thick, you guys. So this for me would have knocked her down quite a bit. It's pretty distended. Let's see if we can get into a back pose here. I should just go to the next page. Thought maybe we could do that. Nope. We're going to go to the next page. Again, no back pose. What is going on with these girls and not hitting back poses? Come on. Okay, she walked to the back and hit one. Here we go. Okay. So, pretty good balance from the back. I believe this is at the back of the stage, so it's hard for me to comment on much here because the lighting's a little different. I wish you'd hit a back pose at the front of the stage where the X is because the lighting is better in the X. I think this is pretty good balance. I think she could still stand to use some more legs. The last girl that we were just talking about, I think probably was overboard on the legs, but I also think that was partly because of her pose. This is the opposite. I think she could use some more legs here. Overall good balance, but she just needs some more. And then Ilsa won the show. And I mean, her shape is pretty superior because she's got that tiny little waistline. Delts are a little big, but she's also kind of pulling them back. So you can see she's trying to hide them a little bit. I'd probably put some hair in front to hide that. But this is pretty damn good right here with the fullness of the quads, the smallness of that waistline, and that pop in the glutes. That's pretty hard to beat right there. And she hit a back pose for us. Love it. We got a back pose. We got a back pose, you guys. So this is a great back pose. I wouldn't push the arms in quite so much. I would just relax them. She's pinched them in quite a bit. But when you look at the fullness and the conditioning and the balance between the glutes and the legs, this is pretty spot on. I don't think she was figured before. I doubt she was figured before. This is wellness right here. This is really good. I would say she's almost a little too conditioned, but it works for her here. And again, that could just be the anabolic lighting again, giving her a little bit of boost with that conditioning. But this is what we're talking about. So the biggest thing that I see a lot of wellness girls mess up is that they forget that it's not just a leg game or it's not just a glute game. It's a balance game still. Yes, the upper body is smaller than the lower body, but when you look at the lower body, the glutes and the legs need to be in balance, and they are here. Right. She did a good job of that. So in my opinion, she won this show hands down. I mean, there wasn't anybody that was even really close to her on this win. So, yeah. But these frames I wanted to go through these top 5 here because these frames are quite a bit more, I guess, developed or advanced than most of the girls that we see here in the States competing, just because they've been doing this particular division for over a decade now. We have not. We've only been doing it for a couple of years. You know what I mean? They've been doing it for a long time down there. So they just this is just their genetic shape is better in general. And they've just had more time to really refine their looks and everything like that in comparison to what we have here in the States. So let me just show a quick comparison. Any questions, you guys? I'm going to pull up the comparison shot so you can look at them. But any questions while we're doing that? So your girl in the pink there is your tall competitor. But I mean, when we look at this lineup here of these ladies, honestly, almost any one of these girls here would beat most of the pros here in the States. I mean, they just would. Again, it's the genetics. It's the been doing this for a lot longer, all of that kind of thing. Yeah, they've got some tweaks to make as far as posing is concerned, but most of them were competing in different federations before they came to the IFBB, before it was a thing in the IFBB. So they still have to make some changes when it comes to adjusting to the criteria here that we've put in place. So, again, I wanted to kind of go through each one of these ones with you, just because of the fact they are kind of a higher caliber than what we're seeing in a lot of the shows here. Wouldn't you guys agree? These are some of the better of the wellness competitors that we've seen. I mean, this lineup here, in comparison to what we see in the States a lot, it's like hands down better across the board, every one of them, right? This girl's still looking down at her feet. Don't look down at your feet, you guys. Don't look down at your feet. Yeah. Really good quality. So anyway, okay. Any questions tonight, you guys? Any questions for this evening? We don't typically go through these foreign country shows one by one, but again, I kind of wanted to show this a little bit. Just wanted to show this a little bit. So specifically for the wellness aspect of it, kind of talk a little bit about the anabolic lighting for Bikini too. So with that, you guys, I'm going to let y'all go. We'll let y'all go tonight. Hope you guys have had a great Wednesday. We'll be back again tomorrow night. Like I said, tomorrow night is our prep update night. So bring your prep questions, training questions, nutrition, presentation, all of the things. And if you need a suit, Oh, that's our Spotify. But if you need a suit, suitsandposing.com. We have a free webinar tomorrow night. You all can join that too. If you need hair and makeup, Tampa next week. We have Clash this weekend. Tampa next week. Nashville 2 weeks after that. And then North Americans. So get on my books. Get on my books. With that, have a great evening. And we'll see you back here tomorrow, 8:15. Okay? Good night, you guys.